The NFL draft is right around the corner, and in this series I'm looking at some of the top prospects in all of college football. In this video I'm going to talk about arguably one of the best running backs in college football history in Najee Harris.
Left with only one right guard. Harris hurdles, flag on the play to the 20, and a little bit of a stiff one to the end zone.
Najee was born in a little town near the San Francisco area in Martinez, California. And after going through tough circumstances that I talked about in my Story Of video, he was able to dominate high school football. As a freshman at Antioch High School, Najee didn't get much love, but more than made up for it as a sophomore. In his sophomore season, Najee rushed for over 2,200 yards and 23 touchdowns as he gained national attention. Not only did he just replicate this success as a junior, but he outdid himself with over 2,700 rushing yards and 36 rushing touchdowns. There was nothing more for Najee to prove, and his over 2,700 yards and 34 touchdowns were just icing on a cake as he became one of the top recruits in the nation. Following his ridiculous high school career, Najee was ranked as a top 3 prospect by practically everyone, and as a 5-star he gained attention from every single big school. Some of the biggest schools after him were Michigan, UCLA, Arizona, California, and the school of all schools in Alabama. And as you could guess, Najee became a Bama boy.
Crossing route, Najee Harris inside the 30, broke a tackle, a hurdle, and the sideline, and a touchdown.
Heading into college, many experts compared him to Adrian Peterson, and although he was only able to rush for just over 350 yards and 3 touchdowns as a freshman, he was only beginning his rise towards the top of the college football world. Even though Najee was a third-string running back as a sophomore, he took full advantage of his opportunities as he rushed for over 750 yards and 4 rushing touchdowns, as he just kept on getting better and better. With the 2 starting running backs in Damian Harris and Josh Jacobs off to the NFL, Najee earned the starting spot and was finally able to show his true potential. As a junior, Najee rushed for over 1,200 yards and 13 touchdowns, to go along with 300 yards receiving and 7 receiving touchdowns. Although there was speculation as to whether or not Najee would leave for the NFL draft after his dominant junior year, he decided to stay, and it turned out to be the right decision to say the least.
Najee Harris will take it. Touchdown, Alabama.
In his last season as a Bama boy, Najee started off hot as a flame, and although he didn't rush for over 100 yards, his 3 touchdowns made up for it against Missouri. Even though the next game against Texas A&M was rough with just over 40 yards, he once again did his thing with 2 rushing touchdowns and was still able to leave an impact on the field. Going up against the Rebels was a field day, as Najee went ham with over 200 yards and 5 rushing touchdowns. After running over Ole Miss, Najee just kept on piling up yards after yards, with over 150 against Georgia, nearly 103 touchdowns against Tennessee, and over 110 against Mississippi State. No matter what challenge was thrown Najee's way, he just seemed unstoppable and did not slow down the rest of the year. In the last 4 games of the regular season, Najee rushed for over 350 yards and 8 touchdowns as Alabama started their real season. In the SEC Championship against Florida, Najee ate with over 170 yards rushing and 2 touchdowns as Bama made the college football playoff once again. In the semifinal against Notre Dame, Najee just went off with 125 rushing yards as Alabama made the championship against the Buckeyes. In his last game at Alabama, Najee had nearly 80 rushing yards and 2 touchdowns as he ended on top following a national championship victory by the Crimson Tide. As a senior, Najee just went beast mode as he rushed for nearly 1,500 yards and 26 touchdowns, along with over 400 yards receiving and 4 receiving touchdowns, in an insane season to say the least. Following such a great year by Najee, he was 5th place in the Heisman voting, behind some of his teammates in the winner Devontae Smith and Big Mac Jones. After one of the best college football running back seasons to date, crazy enough in a pass-heavy offense with Mac Jones passing for 4,500 yards, Najee had become one of the top prospects in the NFL draft.
They go to Najee Harris. Najee Harris going to the end zone for the 5th time tonight.
Najee has the talent to take the league by storm, and his elite talent is up there with some of the best. It'd be super easy to compare him to the fellow elusive and dominant Alabama running back in Derrick Henry, but I'm thinking someone else. Najee might be as strong as an ox, but he has a different running style than the beast out there in the Music City and Derrick. I'm thinking more of running back in a little bit of colder weather, a little bit north of Tennessee in a little old town of Green Bay in Aaron Jones. Aaron Jones has the ability to break off crazy long runs like Najee and can move throughout the tackles like a turkey on Thanksgiving.
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
Although Najee is much larger and has nearly half a foot on AJ, the backs are too similar to ignore. When Najee makes his trip to whatever team decides to take the Bama boy, I could see him becoming a star like Aaron in practically no time. As an NFL-ready running back, and with plenty of experience on some of the biggest stages with Alabama, Najee is second to none within the group of running backs heading into the draft. Najee is just on a different level with his ability to change direction and break tackles on the fly. Najee is one of the most talented prospects in recent memory, and honestly this is an easy A+ for me, no questions asked. I see Najee as the best running back in the draft, so whatever team needs a running back the earliest is likely going to go for the Bama boy. I could easily see Najee going mid-first round in a quarterback-heavy draft to Miami with their 18th overall pick to just become yet another addition to the team on the rise. Along with Tua, now Will Fuller, Parker, Gesicki, and a solid defense, I could see Miami becoming a dominant unit with the Bama boy. Najee could go earlier, but in a draft full of teams in need of quarterback and wide receiver help, it only makes sense that the Bama boy would go in the middle of the first round and be a part of a dynasty in the making. If someone is going to drive 9 hours to watch some of their teammates show out, he just flat out is going to become a star.
Drove 9 hours overnight to get to Tuscaloosa in time to watch his former teammates practice.
For the national championship game in 11 days, hurdling is Harris, and now running down the sideline.
Thanks for watching the video. If you enjoyed, subscribe, like, and comment what videos you want next. See you guys on Thursday, and peace out.